The ship shook hard. Commander Zixthar held onto his seat as another blast hit them. The lights went on and off. His crew looked scared. Through the window, he could see hundreds of enemy ships. They were everywhere, shooting at the Coalition fleet. The Catharn swarm had come without warning. They destroyed 3 colonies in just a few days. Their weapons were powerful. Their ships were fast. The Coalition forces were losing badly. Every battle ended the same way. More ships destroyed. More lives lost, a crew member called out from her station. Her name was Vexala. She was young but trained well. Her voice shook when she spoke. The shields were almost gone. The ship had holes in it. Many crew members were hurt or dead. Zixthar looked at the screen. It showed the battle. 13 Coalition ships were gone. 8 more were badly damaged. The Catharn kept attacking. They showed no mercy. They were not trying to take over. They wanted to kill everyone. He made a hard choice. He told everyone to retreat. All ships that could still move should run away. It hurt to give up, but staying would mean dying for nothing. As the ships prepared to escape, a scientist named Malketh walked over. He looked worried. His body language showed he had something important to say. Malketh said he had been looking through their files. He searched for any species that might help them fight the Catharn. He found something interesting. Zixthar listened carefully. The protected species list was special. It had names of all the young civilizations in the galaxy. They were not ready for space travel yet. Coalition law said to leave them alone. Let them grow on their own. Malketh turned on a display. A blue and green planet appeared. It spun slowly in the air. "This is Earth," he said. "It is in the Sol system, not too far from where they were now. The main species there calls themselves humans." Zixthar asked if they had spaceships. Malketh said barely. They just started going to space. Very basic technology, but there was something special about them. Their planet was rated as Class 12 Death World. Everyone on the bridge stopped. Class 12 was the highest danger level. Planets like that were so dangerous that most aliens would die quickly. The fact that smart beings lived there was amazing. The fact that they survived and grew strong was almost impossible. Zixthar wanted to know more. What made Earth so deadly? Malketh showed them information about the planet. The air had 21% oxygen. Most Coalition species would get sick from breathing that. Their bodies would break down. The gravity was stronger than normal. Weather on Earth was violent. Storms with winds faster than most ships. The ground moved and shook often. Volcanoes erupted, and the life on Earth was dangerous. Predators everywhere. Animals that could kill easily. Vexala asked about the humans themselves. What were they like? Malketh explained. Humans were top hunters on their world. They had special eyes for tracking prey. They could run for days without stopping. Their bodies healed from injuries that would kill other species. They were smart and creative, and they had been fighting wars for their entire history. Zixthar felt cold. The Coalition had talked about Deathworld species before. Some said they should never be contacted. Too dangerous. Too violent. Others said they could be good friends if treated right. Vexala spoke up. She said this was a bad idea. Contacting protected species was against the law. And these humans sounded scary. If they brought them into the war, they might cause more problems. Another explosion hit the ship. 3 more Coalition vessels disappeared from the screen. Dead. Gone. Zixthar spoke quietly. They had no choice. The Catharn would reach the core world soon. Billions would die. Maybe trillions. He looked at Malketh and gave the order. Set course for Earth and hoped these Deathworlders would help. The ship jumped into hyperspace. They left the battle behind. The crew sat in silence. Nobody knew what would happen next. They were going to ask for help from a species they had never met. A species from a world so dangerous it should not support life. Zixthar thought about his decision. Was it right? Was it wrong? He did not know. But he knew they were desperate. The Coalition was losing. Their strongest weapons did nothing against the Catharn. Their best strategies failed. They needed something different. Something unexpected. Maybe these humans were the answer. Maybe they would have ideas the Coalition never thought of. Or maybe they would refuse to help. Maybe they would be too scared. Or maybe they would attack the Coalition ships. Malketh worked on his computer. He pulled up more information about humans. Their history was full of conflicts. Wars over land. Wars over resources. Wars over ideas. They fought with swords and spears at first, then guns and bombs. Now they had nuclear weapons that could destroy cities. But they also had art, music, stories. They took care of each other in times of trouble. They built societies across their whole planet. They were not just warriors. They were builders too. Vexala asked how long until they reached Earth. Malketh checked. About 6 hours at current speed. 6 hours until first contact with humanity. 6 hours until everything changed. The crew tried to rest. Some ate food. Some checked the damage to the ship. Others looked at the data about Earth and humans. Everyone was nervous. Meeting a new species was always risky. Meeting one from a death world was terrifying. Zixthar stayed on the bridge. He watched the stars streak by as they traveled faster than light. He wondered what the humans would think. Would they believe the story? Would they care about aliens they never met? Would they risk their lives for strangers? He hoped so. Because if the humans said no, the coalition had no backup plan. This was their last hope, their only chance. Everything depended on what happened in the next few hours. The ship flew on through hyperspace, heading toward Earth, heading toward humanity, heading toward a meeting that would change the galaxy forever. Neither species knew it yet, but this day would be remembered for generations. The day the coalition found hope in the Deathworlders. Colonel Jack Morrison stood in the control room. He stared at the screen. 3 hours ago, their satellites found something strange. A large object appeared in space. It came out of nowhere. Like a hole opened up and the ship came through. He asked his team if the ship answered their calls. Lieutenant Sarah Martinez said no, but the ship was sending signals. Strange signals in a pattern. They were trying to communicate. Morrison told them to get language experts right away. He asked about the ship's condition. The tactical officer looked at the data. The ship was badly hurt. Holes in the hull, power going up and down, marks from weapons all over it. Whatever these aliens were, they had been in a big fight. Morrison's heart beat fast. Humans had dreamed about this for hundreds of years. Meeting aliens. But this was not the peaceful meeting everyone imagined. This was different, Sarah called out again. The computer figured out the alien language. The math patterns made sense now. The aliens wanted to land on Earth. They needed medical help. Morrison asked how bad it was. Sarah said the aliens were sending numbers about their wounded. Over 300 injured crew members. Morrison made his choice. Let them land at Edwards Air Force Base, get doctors ready, get security forces ready too, and call the president. History was happening right now. 6 hours later, Morrison stood outside. The alien ship came down from the sky. It was huge, 3 times bigger than the largest Navy ship. The hull was black and damaged. Landing legs came out and the ship touched down gently. A ramp came down. Morrison saw his first alien. Commander Zixthar was tall and thin. His skin was gray-blue. He had 3 eyes and a triangle pattern. He wore a military uniform that was torn and stained. The aliens gave them a translator device. Zixthar spoke through it. His voice sounded emotional. He said he came from the Galactic Coalition. He was not an explorer. He was a soldier asking for help. His civilization was facing extinction. Many other alien species, too. Morrison pointed to the doctors waiting nearby. Get your wounded to them. We will help however we can. Zixthar thanked him. But he warned that human doctors would need special equipment. Alien bodies were very different from human bodies. Morrison said their doctors were smart. They would figure it out. Now tell me about this threat you mentioned. They went inside to a meeting room. Zixthar showed videos to Morrison and other Earth leaders. The enemy was called the Catharn Swarm. The videos showed brutal attacks. Advanced technology. Complete destruction of planets and colonies. General Christine Harper asked the obvious question. Why come to us? You said we are primitive. What can we do against an enemy like that? Zixthar looked at her with all 3 eyes. Your planet is a Class 12 death world. Do you understand what that means? Harper said he better explain. Zixthar told them the truth. The air humans breathe would hurt most aliens. Their lungs would burn. Earth's gravity would break their bones. Human diseases would kill them. Earth had natural disasters that were worse than weapons on most planets. Yet humans lived here. More than that, humans were strong here. Malketh showed them data on a screen. Normal coalition soldiers could work for about 4 hours before needing rest. Human soldiers had gone for 72 hours without sleep. Most aliens could survive losing 3% of their blood. Humans survived losing up to 40% with medical care. He showed more facts. Humans had backup organs. Human bodies made natural painkillers when hurt. Humans could live in temperatures that would kill most species, and humans were very good at thinking in battle. Creative, adaptable. Morrison said slowly, "So you are saying we are tough. But being tough does not mean we can win against better technology." Zixthar said, "We are not asking you to fight alone. We can give you technology, weapons, ships. What we need is what you have naturally, the ability to keep going, to adapt, to never give up when losing. These qualities cannot be taught. They come from evolution on worlds like Earth." The room went quiet. Morrison saw everyone thinking hard. This was bigger than politics, bigger than countries. This was about humanity's place in the galaxy. General Harper stood up. She asked if they would share all their technology. Not just weapons, everything, medical technology, faster than light travel. Energy systems, Zixthar answered quickly. "Yes. If you help us survive, we will make sure humanity joins the stars." Harper looked at Morrison, then at the president. "I suggest we prepare for war. Because if there is one thing humans know how to do, it is fight." The president asked many questions. How long before the Catharn reached Earth? Were there other allies? What weapons did the Catharn use? How many humans would be needed? Zixthar answered everything honestly. The Catharn would not reach Earth for a while. They were attacking the core coalition worlds first. But eventually they would come here too. If the coalition fell, Earth would be alone. And Earth's primitive technology would not stop the Catharn. As for allies, the coalition had dozens of member species. But most were not warriors. They were scientists, artists, builders, good people but not fighters. The Catharn had adapted to their tactics. That was why they kept losing. Morrison asked what made humans different. Why would human tactics work better? Malketh explained. Coalition species followed rules in war, specific strategies, predictable patterns. Humans broke rules. They improvised. They tried things that seemed crazy but sometimes worked. That unpredictability might confuse the Catharn. The meeting lasted hours. Plans were made. Agreements were written. Both sides knew this was risky. Humans were risking their lives for aliens they just met. The coalition was giving advanced technology to a species that might misuse it. But trust had to start somewhere. And desperation made strange allies. The coalition needed humanity's fighting spirit. Humanity wanted the stars. Together they might survive. Apart they would both fall. As the sun set that day, Morrison and Zixthar stood outside. They looked at the sky. Morrison thought about how his world just changed forever. No going back now. Humanity was part of something bigger. Zixthar thought about what he had done. He brought Deathworlders into a galactic war. He gave them technology that could make them powerful beyond measure. He hoped he made the right choice. Both of them knew one thing for sure. The galaxy would never be the same again. Captain Lisa Chen watched soldiers walk into the training facility. They built it fast in the Nevada desert. The soldiers wore new armor. It combined human and alien technology. The armor controlled temperature. It protected better than anything Earth made before. It connected to coalition weapons. Lieutenant Vexala walked over to Chen. She was the main alien contact for human forces. Even after 3 weeks, the aliens still seemed nervous around humans. Vexala said they prepared the first combat test. She warned it was set to coalition military standards. The tests were very hard, Chen smiled. My people have been fighting each other for thousands of years. We invented many ways to win battles. I think we will do fine. The first test started simple. 12 human soldiers entered a fake battle zone. Their job was to take a fortified position. Virtual Catharn forces defended it. Coalition experts predicted 30% success rate. They expected some casualties. The humans finished in 14 minutes with 0 casualties. Vexala stared at the results. She could not believe it. The difficulty was set for Special Forces level. How did they adapt so fast? Chen explained while watching the replay. They did not just adapt. Look here. Sergeant Rodriguez found a weak spot in enemy formation. He used it. Here, Corporal Kim used the ground to create a better shooting position. And here, they used a destroyed vehicle as moving cover while attacking. We call it being flexible. Vexala was confused. The coalition manual says moving forward under fire with little cover violates safety rules. Chen said gently. That is your problem. You fight by the book. We write the book as we go. The tests got harder. The trainers threw everything at the humans. Too many enemies. Better weapons. Impossible situations. The humans kept adapting. In one test, a human group was trapped by enemy fire. No way to escape. Coalition rules said withdraw immediately. Instead, the humans dug in. They set up good shooting positions. They held that position for 6 fake hours until help arrived. In another test, their heavy weapons broke. Human engineers fixed them using spare parts and homemade explosives. The coalition observers were horrified at the safety violations. The humans were just getting started. Malketh said to Zixthar while watching another test. They are insane. A human squad just used their armor jets to jump directly onto an enemy fort. They skipped all the defenses, Zixthar corrected him. No, they are survivors. Every tactic they use has been improved over thousands of years of war on their death world. They are not reckless. They are efficient. Training was not just about fighting. Humans had to learn alien technology too. The first time human soldiers went on a coalition ship, the gravity was wrong. What aliens called normal was only 60% of Earth gravity for humans. Vexala reported that humans wanted to increase ship gravity to Earth standard during training. Zixthar said yes, but warn the coalition crew. They need to stay in their rooms during that time. The warning was right. When gravity increased to Earth level, several alien officers who stayed on duty collapsed within minutes. The humans felt more comfortable and actually did better in training. Physical differences were not the only thing that set humans apart. Their minds were different too. Coalition species evolved on gentle worlds. They liked cooperation. They avoided conflict. Humans spent millions of years competing with each other and their deadly environment. This made them aggressive in ways that fascinated and scared their allies. One evening, Vexala asked Chen a personal question. How do your people maintain such aggression without destroying yourselves? Our psychological tests suggest humans have behavior that would be considered sick in most coalition species. Chen thought carefully. We channel it. Sports, competition, art, debates. We learn to direct our aggressive instincts into productive things. But when we need to fight, when survival is at stake, those instincts are still there. We do not have to learn to be warriors. We just have to remember that we are. As weeks turned into months, something amazing happened. Coalition forces began copying human tactics. They learned to take smart risks, to improvise when plans failed, to push beyond their limits. The humans gained access to technology that seemed like magic months ago. Commander Zixthar watched everything with mixed feelings. The humans were everything he hoped for and more. But he worried. Once the war ended, once humanity saved the coalition, what would these Deathworlders do with all their new power? Malketh noticed his worry. You are worried about them, Zixthar replied. I am worried about all of us. We opened a door that can never be closed. Humanity will never go back to being isolated on a small planet. We gave them the stars. I just hope the galaxy is ready for what that means. The training continued. Humans learned to fly alien ships. They learned about alien cultures. They practiced fighting in zero gravity. They trained in different environments: desert, ice, underwater, space stations. Every test showed the same result. Humans were natural warriors, not because they were cruel or violent by nature, but because they never gave up. They found solutions when there seemed to be none. They worked together under pressure. They adapted to new situations instantly. The aliens learned from humans too. They learned that rules could be broken when necessary, that sometimes the crazy plan was the right plan, that fear could be used as motivation instead of a reason to quit. Chen and Vexala became friends. At first, Vexala was scared of Chen, but working together every day changed that. They shared meals, talked about their families, learned about each other's cultures. One night, Vexala said, I was wrong about your people. I thought you were monsters, dangerous beasts from a nightmare world, but you are just people, trying to survive, trying to protect those you love. Chen smiled. And I was wrong about your people too. I thought you were weak, too soft for real combat. But you have courage. You came to us when you were desperate. You trusted us with your technology. That takes strength. After 4 months of training, the first human units were ready for combat. They had alien weapons, alien armor, alien ships. But they fought with human tactics, human determination, human creativity. The Catharn swarm was about to face something they never encountered before. An enemy that refused to follow the rules. An enemy that got stronger when things got harder. An enemy from a death world. The galaxy was about to change. And nobody knew if it would be for better or worse. The Catharn swarm appeared in space like a storm. Kepler Station was the target. The huge space station was humanity's first project built with the Coalition. It showed cooperation between species. Now it would be a battlefield. Admiral Kyle Bennett stood on the bridge of the human ship Indomitable. He watched enemy ships come out of hyperspace. Hundreds of Catharn warships. Their hulls looked organic and glowed with strange light. They moved together like hunting fish. Bennett ordered all ships to report their status. Captain Chen responded from her own ship. Human First Fleet ready, all weapons armed and charging. Commander Zixthar added from his rebuilt ship. Coalition Second Fleet standing by, though I must say, our numbers show we are outnumbered 3-1. Bennett smiled grimly. Then it is a fair fight. All ships prepare to fight. Let us show these bugs what happens when you threaten our new friends. The battle started with massive weapons fire. The Catharn used their usual tactics. They sent wave after wave of robot drones to overwhelm defenders. These tactics destroyed Coalition forces before. They never faced humans before. Lieutenant Sarah Martinez called out from her station. Point defense systems online. Engaging drone swarm. Human ships opened fire with Coalition weapons modified by human engineers. The firing rate was 3 times faster than normal Coalition weapons. The targeting systems were quicker, more aggressive, more willing to take risks. The drone swarm that destroyed so many Coalition ships broke apart under the attack. The Catharn command ship detected something wrong. Their drones were dying too fast. They adapted and sent heavier assault craft. The human response was immediate. Fighter squadrons launched from carrier ships. Human pilots flew them. Their reflexes were sharpened by millions of years of hunting on Earth. They dove into the enemy with no fear. Coalition observers gasped. A voice came over communications. This is Raptor Squadron. We are going in. See you on the other side. Human fighters weaved through enemy ships. They dodged fire that should have killed them. They took shots that seemed impossible. They trusted their instincts. Behind them, Catharn assault craft exploded one after another. Martinez reported that the Catharn were changing formation. They were adapting to human tactics. Bennett replied, Then we adapt faster. All ships execute maneuver Delta 7. On the Coalition ship, Vexila looked confused. Commander, Delta 7 is not in our database. Zixthar replied with amazement in his voice. That is because the humans invented it yesterday. The human fleet suddenly broke apart. Each ship moved on its own in what looked like chaos. To Catharn sensors, it looked like the fleet was falling apart. They moved in for the kill. Too late, they realized their mistake. The human ships had not scattered randomly. They created a 3-dimensional net. They had shooting angles covering everything. As Catharn ships advanced, they were caught in a trap with no escape. Zixthar ordered Coalition fleet to join the attack. Follow the human lead. Coalition ships moved more carefully than humans, but with deadly accuracy. They added their firepower to the assault. The Catharn formation began falling apart. But the Catharn were not beaten yet. Their command ship moved forward. It was massive, as big as a small moon. Its weapons came online. Power readings were off the scale. It fired one beam of energy that cut through 2 Coalition ships like paper. Malketh reported grimly. That is their command ship. Destroying it would break their whole fleet's coordination. But its shields are too strong. We never breached them before. Bennett said. Then we do not breach them. We go through them. Captain Chen, are you thinking what I am thinking? There was a pause. Then Chen's voice came through with determination. Ramming speed? Bennett said. Commander Zixthar, you might want to look away for this. All human ships target the command vessel. We are going to introduce them to a very old human military tradition. The human fleet turned as one and accelerated toward the Catharn command ship. The aliens fired everything they had, but human ships did not slow down. Their shields failed, their armor burned, but they kept coming. Martinez said calmly, collision in 30 seconds. Bennett ordered all crew to prepare for impact. And someone remind me to put death or glory on our memorial. At the last moment, just as the Catharn shields flickered under sustained attack, the human fleet opened fire at point-blank range. Every weapon, every missile, everything they had, all fired at once. The explosion was visible from 3 star systems away. When sensors cleared, the Catharn command ship was gone. The remaining enemy ships lost coordination and began retreating in chaos. Coalition forces chased them with renewed confidence in human tactics. On the bridge of Indomitable, which survived with only moderate damage, Bennett checked the situation. All ships report casualties. The numbers came in. Heavy losses, but far fewer than expected. And more importantly, they won. The Catharn swarm, unbeatable for so long, was defeated. Bennett asked about coalition forces. There was a long pause before Zixthar responded. His voice was emotional. Admiral Bennett, on behalf of the Galactic Coalition, I thank you. You saved not just our forces, but our entire civilization. We owe you a debt that can never be repaid. Bennett replied, just remember this feeling, because from now on, humanity is part of this galaxy, and we take care of our friends. The battle was over. The station was saved. But everyone knew this was just the beginning. The Catharn would return. There would be more fights, more losses, more sacrifices. But today, humans and aliens fought together and won. They proved that cooperation worked. That different species could trust each other, that the galaxy was stronger united than divided. News of the victory spread fast. Across coalition space, people celebrated. Hope returned. The Catharn were not invincible. They could be beaten. And the key was the Deathworlders from Earth. Chen sat in her quarters after the battle. She was tired. Her ship was damaged. Many of her crew were hurt. But they were alive. And they won. She thought about how much had changed. Months ago, humanity did not know aliens existed. Now they were fighting wars among the stars. Vexala came to visit. She brought medical supplies and food. The two sat together in comfortable silence, friends who once seemed impossible. Chen asked, "What happens now?" Vexala said, "Now we rebuild. We prepare. And we hope the Catharn learned their lesson. But somehow I think they will be back." Chen nodded. "Then we will be ready. Humans do not give up. And now we have friends who will not give up either." 1 year passed since the Battle of Kepler Station. The war continued, but the tide had turned. Human forces fought alongside coalition allies in dozens of battles. Each victory made the Catharn weaker. Each defeat taught new lessons. The Catharn adapted to human tactics. They became more unpredictable. They changed their formations. They tried new weapons. But humans adapted faster. Every time the Catharn learned something, humans already moved to the next strategy. Admiral Bennett stood in a war room with Zixthar and other coalition leaders. They looked at a map of the galaxy. Red marks showed Catharn territory. Blue marks showed coalition space. The red was shrinking. The blue was growing. Zixthar pointed to a cluster of stars near the galactic edge. "This is their main base. Intelligence suggests they are regrouping here. If we strike now with a full force, we can end this war." A coalition general asked about the risks. The Catharn base was heavily defended. It would cost many lives to attack it. Was it worth the price? Bennett said. "Every day we wait, they get stronger. Every day they prepare new attacks. We end this now or we fight them forever." "I vote we attack," Captain Chen agreed. "Human forces are ready. We have new ships, new weapons, and we learned from every battle. The Catharn expect us to be cautious like before. Let us surprise them." The vote was unanimous. They would attack the Catharn home base. Every available ship, every trained soldier. One final battle to end the war. Preparations took 2 weeks. Ships gathered from across coalition space, human vessels mixed with alien designs. The combined fleet was the largest ever assembled. Over 5,000 warships, millions of crew members. The night before the battle, Bennett walked through his ship. He talked to crew members, checked equipment, made sure everyone was ready. The mood was serious but confident. They knew tomorrow would be hard. but they believed in their mission. He found Chen in the hangar bay. She was inspecting fighters, making last-minute adjustments. She looked up when he approached. Bennett asked if she was ready. Chen smiled. As ready as I will ever be. Strange to think a year ago I was training in Nevada. Now I'm about to lead a strike force against an alien homeworld. Bennett said, You have done humanity proud. All of you have. Whatever happens tomorrow, remember that. Chen nodded. We will win. We have to. Too many people are counting on us. The fleet jumped to hyperspace at dawn. The trip took 6 hours. When they emerged, the Catharn base filled the viewport. It was a massive structure built around a dying star. Thousands of defensive platforms, millions of drones. The final stronghold of a desperate enemy. The Catharn detected them immediately. Alarms sounded across their base. Ships launched. Weapons charged. They knew this was the end. Either they won or they fell. Bennett gave the order. All ships attack. For Earth, for the Coalition. For peace, the battle was fierce. The Catharn fought with desperation. They used every weapon, every tactic, every trick they knew, but the combined fleet was too strong. Human aggression combined with Coalition technology and coordination proved unstoppable. Chen led fighter squadrons deep into the enemy base. They destroyed power generators, weapons platforms, command centers. Behind them, capital ships poured fire into the base structure. Zixthar coordinated the Coalition forces with precision. He learned human tactics but kept Coalition discipline. The combination was devastating. The Catharn defenses crumbled. After 12 hours of constant fighting, the Catharn base began breaking apart. Secondary explosions rippled through the structure. Ships fled in all directions. The organized swarm became scattered refugees. Bennett ordered ceasefire. Let them go. They are beaten. No need for more killing. The fleet stopped shooting. They watched as Catharn survivors escaped into deep space. Vexala asked if they should pursue. Finish them completely. Bennett shook his head. We came to end the war, not commit genocide. They will remember this day. They will know what happens when they threaten the Coalition. The war was over. News spread across the galaxy at light speed. Celebrations erupted on thousands of worlds. The nightmare was finished. Peace returned. But everyone knew things would never go back to how they were. The galaxy changed. Humanity changed it. The presence of Deathworlders shifted the balance of power. Other species looked at humans with new eyes. Some with respect, some with fear, some with both. 3 months after the war ended, a ceremony was held. The Galactic Coalition formally invited Earth to join as a full member. Representatives from every species attended. It was broadcast across the galaxy. Bennett stood with other Earth leaders. They listened as Zixthar, now promoted to Grand Admiral, gave a speech. He talked about the dark days when the Coalition faced extinction, how they found hope in an unlikely place, how humanity saved them all. Then Earth's president spoke. She talked about humanity's journey to the stars, how they were alone for so long, how meeting the Coalition opened their eyes to the bigger universe, how they were honored to fight beside their new friends. The vote was held. Every species voted to accept Earth. It was unanimous. Humanity officially joined the Galactic Coalition. That evening, Bennett and Zixthar stood on an observation deck. They looked at the stars. So much had happened. So much had changed. They went from desperate strangers to trusted allies. Zixthar said, When I first came to Earth, I saw your people as weapons, tools to win a war. I was wrong. You are partners, friends. Yes, you are dangerous, but you are also loyal, creative, brave. The galaxy is better with humanity in it. Bennett replied, And we learned from you. Patience, cooperation, how to work with different species. We still have much to learn, but we will learn together. Chen and Vexala joined them. The four stood together looking at the stars, representatives of two species that should have been incompatible. But they found common ground, common goals, common friendship. Chen said, What comes next? The war is over. What do we do now? Bennett smiled. Now we explore. Now we build. Now we show the galaxy what humans and the Coalition can accomplish together. Vexala added, There will be challenges. Not everyone trusts humanity. Some species fear you, but time will change that, as it changed me, As it changed all of us who fought beside you, Zixthar raised a glass. To new beginnings. To friendship across the stars. To the Deathworlders who saved us all, they all drank together. The future was uncertain. There would be new challenges, new threats, new adventures, but they would face them together. Humans and aliens, Deathworlders and spacewalkers, different but united. In the despair of war, the Coalition found hope in humanity, and humanity found its place among the stars. The story was just beginning. 2 years after joining the Coalition, Earth transformed completely. Cities now had alien districts where Coalition species lived and worked. Human children learned alien languages in school. Alien technology merged with human innovation to create wonders neither could make alone. Captain Lisa Chen walked through the new Earth orbital shipyard. The massive construction facility floated above the planet. Here humans and aliens worked side by side building the next generation of Coalition vessels, ships that combined the best of both civilizations. She stopped to watch a work crew. 3 humans and 2 aliens coordinated perfectly. They installed a hybrid engine system. Human durability met alien precision. The result was better than either species could achieve separately. Vexala joined her at the observation window. Amazing, is it not? 2 years ago I was terrified of humans. Now I cannot imagine the galaxy without you. Chen smiled. The feeling is mutual. You taught us so much: patience, long-term thinking, how to work with different species. We were good at surviving. You taught us how to thrive. They walked through the shipyard together. Everywhere showed signs of cooperation. Human coffee shops served alien beverages. Alien meditation gardens used earth plants. 2 cultures blending into something new. But integration was not always easy. Some humans distrusted aliens. Some aliens feared humans. Old prejudices died slowly. There were incidents, arguments, misunderstandings. Each one was a test of the new alliance. Admiral Bennett now led the Joint Defense Force, a military organization with soldiers from dozens of species. His job was to keep peace and handle conflicts. It was harder than fighting the Catharn in some ways. He sat in his office reviewing reports. A human colony had a dispute with alien settlers over resource rights. A Coalition ship captain complained about human crew members taking unnecessary risks. An alien ambassador protested human weapons development. Every problem needed attention. Every conflict needed resolution. Building peace was harder than winning war. Zixthar visited him that afternoon. The Grand Admiral looked tired. Leading the Coalition in peacetime brought different challenges than wartime. They discussed the issues. Some were simple misunderstandings. Different cultures had different customs. What humans saw as confidence, some aliens saw as aggression. What aliens saw as caution, humans saw as weakness. Education was key. Understanding was essential. Bennett asked about the bigger picture. How did the wider Coalition view humanity now? Zixthar considered his answer carefully. Mixed feelings. Some species admire humans greatly. Others remain wary. But respect is universal. Everyone knows what humanity accomplished, he continued. There is talk of creating a new defense doctrine, one that incorporates human tactical flexibility with Coalition coordination. Your way of thinking spread beyond just military matters. Scientists question old assumptions. Artists explore new styles. Philosophers debate human concepts of individual versus collective. Bennett said, "So we are changing the galaxy." Zixthar nodded. For better or worse, yes, but mostly for better. Complacency was our greatest weakness. Humanity shook us out of it. Meanwhile, on Earth, schools taught a new curriculum. Children learned about alien species. They studied Coalition history. They prepared for a future among the stars. The generation growing up now would never know a time before aliens. To them, the galaxy was home. A teacher in Tokyo explained to her class about different alien homeworlds. She showed pictures of planets with pink skies, ocean worlds with no land, ice worlds orbiting dim stars. The students listened with wonder. Space was no longer science fiction. It was their future. One student asked if Earth was really a death world. The teacher smiled. To most aliens, yes. Our world is dangerous, but that danger made us strong. It taught us to adapt, to persevere. Those qualities helped save the Coalition. Now we use them to build rather than destroy. Another student asked if they would meet aliens. The teacher nodded. Many of you will work with aliens. Some will marry aliens. Some will live on alien worlds. The future is unlimited. But remember, with opportunity comes responsibility. We represent humanity. Our actions reflect on all of Earth. That evening, Bennett hosted a dinner. Human and alien officers from the Joint Defense Force attended. It was informal. A chance to relax and bond. Food from a dozen worlds covered the tables. Conversation flowed in multiple languages. Chen sat with Vexala and Malketh. They talked about old times, the desperate journey to Earth, the first nervous meetings, the training that changed everything, the battles that forged friendships. Malketh said, "I never thought I would enjoy human food, but these things you call tacos are wonderful." Chen laughed. "Wait until you try pizza," Vexala added. "I introduced him to chocolate last week. He ate an entire bar and was sick for hours, but he said it was worth it." The mood was light, happy. These were people who trusted each other completely. They had fought together, bled together. Now they built the future together. Later, Bennett and Zixthar stepped outside. They looked up at the stars. More human ships traveled among them now. Exploration vessels, trade ships, colony transports. Humanity spread across the galaxy. Zixthar spoke quietly. "Sometimes I think about that first day. When I came to Earth desperate and afraid, I did not know what would happen. I hoped for warriors. I found so much more," Bennett replied. "You gave us the stars. You could have kept your technology secret, could have used us and discarded us, but you treated us as equals. That made all the difference." They stood in comfortable silence. Two friends from different worlds, united by shared struggle and mutual respect. The galaxy stretched above them, full of possibility, full of challenges, but no longer full of fear. Back on Earth, a child looked through a telescope. She saw alien ships passing by, saw the orbital stations, saw the lights of human and alien cooperation. She dreamed of the day she would go to space, would meet aliens, would explore new worlds. Her mother watched her. She remembered when the first alien ship arrived. The fear and wonder, the war that followed, the victory that changed everything. She was glad her daughter would grow up in a better galaxy, one where different species work together. The mother said, "You can be anything you want, an explorer, a scientist, a diplomat. The galaxy is open to you." The girl asked, "Can I be like Captain Chen? Fight bad aliens and make friends with good ones?" Her mother smiled. "You can be exactly like Captain Chen. Brave, kind, strong, someone who brings people together. The galaxy needs more people like that." Years would pass. New generations would grow. The story of how aliens found hope in Deathworlders would become legend. Children would learn it in schools. It would be told on 1,000 worlds in 100 languages. But for those who lived it, it was more than legend. It was memory. Real faces. Real sacrifices. Real friendships. They knew the truth behind the story. That peace was harder to build than win. That cooperation took constant work. That the future was created one choice at a time. The galaxy was better now. Not perfect. Never perfect. But better. Humans and aliens learned from each other, grew together, built something neither could make alone. And it all started with one desperate decision. One gamble, one hope, that somewhere in the galaxy on a dangerous death world lived a species that could help. Not just warriors, not just survivors, but partners, friends, family. In their darkest hour, aliens found hope in the Deathworlders, and together, they built a brighter future for all.